this day of your time. How are you all?
Great.
We will once again take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you individually for allowing these interactions to take place, so that in these interactions our civilization gets the opportunity to view through each and every one of you that many more facets of the multidimensional crystal of all that is. We thank you for this gift, and we would like to begin this interaction this day of your time with the following notion, by recognizing that it is, as you label time, your Friday the 13th, and we understand that you place a great deal of significance upon these kinds of dates. So let us discuss, let us take advantage of this avenue, this doorway, this gateway, as your collective consciousness has created it to be a window into the unknown. Because of the mass collective consciousness recognition that the vibration you call 13 is a transitional number, a transitional frequency, a transitional ratio. So then it can be taken advantage of by focusing, by concentrating and bringing your intention to bear upon this vibration, especially on a day so numbered, so named, as having meaning for you in terms of opening up these doorways, these windows into the unknown. For we have many times, as many of you are familiar with, said that it is only in the unknown you will discover your true self. That is where you exist. In many cases, many of the things you think you know are in many ways projections, illusions, manifestations and creations of your physiological personality that act and function as placeholders, symbols of things that represent who and what you are, but are not who and what you are literally and directly, but within the unknown. That is where you really exist. That is who you really are. For you are the event itself of your life, not a participant in an event, not an observer in that sense objectively, but you are the event itself as it unfolds. You are the life unfolding itself. You are the process itself of being, whatever it is at any given moment you deem yourself to be. So let us focus on the idea of making more of a friend of the unknown rather than fearing it. For the only thing you will ever discover in the unknown is more of yourself if you are willing to explore it. So let us take a moment, or perhaps a few, to become very relaxed in whatever way, shape, and form you deem to be comfortable. Close your eyes and prepare for the concept of a journey, a meditation, an exercise, if you wish. Allow yourself to begin by breathing deeply, comfortably, in a relaxed manner. Allow yourself to let go of what you would consider to be the worries of the day, the thoughts of the day. For a few minutes at least, give yourself permission to be in a free zone where you do not have to consider your day-to-day occurrences, but if you do, let them simply be a part of that energy that will add to your ability to go deeper and deeper and deeper into the center of your being. Do not view these things or label these thoughts that might come in as distractions. Allow them to add to the momentum of your capability to dive more deeply into the center and the core of your being. Breathe evenly, deeply, gently, lovingly. Feel the warmth of the whole idea and the concept of love permeate within your very being, within your very heart. Radiate outward from your heart to fill your entire being. And as you so do, imagine, if you will, an unbroken field of white light, an unbroken volume of homogeneous, pure, crystalline white light, filling everywhere, everywhen, everything. Beautiful whiteness. The unbroken light of the infinite, of all that is. The most brilliant light you have ever seen, yet tolerable to your eyes, to your senses. Bathing you in radiance. Bathing you in unconditional love. Bathing you in eternal support. penetrating your very cells, your very molecules, your very atoms, into the heart, into the core of your body, of your being, of your spirit, of your soul, of your mind, of all your senses, of all your emotions. Let everything relax in this warm, radiant white light. Drift freely within it, float freely within this sea of energy. Now imagine, if you will, that this white light begins to vibrate downward, lowering its energy until it becomes a bright, bright, bright violet light. Beautiful violet. Allow the energy to slow down even more until this violet light becomes bright, bright blue light. And it deepens and deepens, deepens, becoming greener and greener and greener. And as you imagine the light changing from white to violet to blue to green, imagine the energy sinking deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper within the core of your being, down and down and down and down. And as this beautiful emerald, verdant light begins to shift to a warm, glowing yellow, like a beautiful fire, crackling and warming you on a cold, wintry night. Allow yourself to imagine now, as the fire begins to die, into a deeper orange glow, becoming cooler and cooler and quieter and softer, until all that is left is the deep glow of the red embers, the red light. Soft, still warm, but soft. And as the energy becomes lower and lower and lower, allow that red to darken, dim, 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 until it is a deep, deep, velvety black. All around you, the deepest, impenetrable, velvety black. A velvet womb of solitude, of safety, of assurance, of support. Deep. And in this velvety blackness is the doorway to the unknown, to all that you are, all that you can ever be. The doorway to the infinite possibilities of the experience of the true you. Within this crucible, within this cauldron, within this womb, within this birthplace, is born all the ideas of yourself, all the experience of yourself, all the masks of your persona, all the presentations, all the illusions, all the ideas, all the thoughts, all the reflections, all the notions, all the visions, all the dreams, all come out of the nothingness into the something, out of the darkness into the light. From this darkness, from this deep, deep, magical abyss of the unknown, you have the power to draw forth creation itself from the formless into the form. Allow yourself permission to reach deeply down into the crevasse of creation. Allow yourself, as you go deep into this bottomless chasm, to feel yourself becoming stiller and stiller and stiller and quiet and peaceful, at rest, at one with all that is. Breathe slowly, restfully, and allow yourself to feel wrapped in the arms, in the blanket of space, of time, of all potentiality. All that is yet to be realized exists here. This is the here and the now that gives birth to the infinite. And as you know that this is the birthplace of creation itself, you feel the spark of that white light burst within your center, within your being, and from the inside out fill the void with white light once again. And in that white light, that unbroken, homogeneous white light that you are now suspended in the center of, is all possible creations, all possible realities, all possible dimensions, all possible experiences, all here, all now, all bursting forth from within you, through you. For you are the conduit, you are the intermediary between the dark and the light, between the depths and the heights of all that is. You are the conduit, you are the channel for the manifestation of all the different points of view of the infinite that you were created to represent, that you were created to experience. It is all within you. The brightest light, the darkest night. All within you. All one. Breathe in the darkness and the light in perfect harmony and perfect balance, so that you may know you are capable of choosing with infinite effortless ease, with absolute certainty and conviction of choosing that frequency and that vibration that you know to be true for you. Feel that solid core of certainty. And as you live your life, as you experience yourself, know that this deep well is within you. And in the center of that deepest darkness is the brightest jewel of light. You are at one and the same time, everywhere and every when, at one with all that is, with the infinite creation. An expression of it, a facet of the multidimensional crystal, and the entirety itself. Gleaming and shining in the night. The diamond in the rough. Breathe deep and awaken, renewed gently from your chrysalis, from your cocoon, from your womb, and spread forth your new wings of light and fly free in your creative imaginations for whatever it is that you know yourself to be at any given moment is the magic and the miracle of your life. And all you need to do is to be who you know you are at every moment. And that is your purpose and your mission in creation. To be fully you as far into the depths, as high into the heights, in every direction infinitely. No matter how you may experience yourself, it will always only be from the here and now, from within the deep unknown, that becomes the you know best. We thank you for allowing us to take you on this little journey. Feel fresh, feel alive, feel relaxed, invigorated, vibrant, and renewed. At peace, but ready to be you. At this timing, once again, in return for the gift that you are giving our civilization and allowing us to experience these interactions with you, I ask you now, in what way may I and my people be of service?
Say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? Oh, fine. First of all, let us take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for allowing this communication to occur in this manner at this time. Each and every time you allow our civilization to make this transmissional link, this bridge, in this format, through this window, it affords our civilization an opportunity to experience, through each and every one of you, another facet, another aspect of the infinite, and this expands our understanding of all the different ways that the infinite can express itself. And so we thank you for this gift of sharing. We would like to begin this transmission with the following idea. We have now, for a little while of your time, been talking about what we consider to be a very important topic, a very critical topic, in understanding how to allow your lives to be transformed in the manner that you would desire. Notice that we utilize your word allow rather than use the word make. Allowing is the key. And this is why. What we will now talk about will be the issue that many of you have begun to understand, that is called the issue of surrender. And when we utilize that term, we do not mean surrender in the negative sense, in that you are creating a sacrifice within yourself, or in a sense giving up something which you truly need. We are talking about the concept of surrender as the true acceptance of your total being, of your total self, and the letting go of those aspects of your personality that only limit you, that in a sense are imposed upon you from childhood, that may not really be representative of who you are at heart, who you are in the core of your being. That is the type of surrender we are talking about. The allowance is to allow yourself to believe, to know with certainty, that if you will be willing to let go of old ideas, old patterns, old beliefs, old definitions, and accept the being you were created to be in the image of the infinite, then you will be able to see, by surrendering those aspects of your personality that don't serve you, you will be able to see your life begin to reflect back to you those aspects of your being that are truly you. For physical reality, as you call it, is really nothing but a mirror. And I mean this quite literally. Quite literally. You have on your planet a device called a glass mirror. And when you look into a mirror, you will see the reflection of your face. Now, if your reflection is wearing a frown, you do not reach out and force the reflection to smile, but you yourself choose to smile instead. Physical reality is exactly like this. If you see things in your life and they are not necessarily reflective of what you prefer, of what you know to be representative of your true self in your heart of hearts, your natural core true being, the idea is not to attempt to manipulate the outside reality reflection in order to bring things back into alignment, but that you must change yourself, within yourself, first, so that your physical reality, being the mirror that it is, can reflect that change back to you. So just as you know, you cannot manipulate the reflection in a glass mirror in order to see the face smile, but instead must smile first, so too you can be absolutely assured that you know that if you do smile, you will see the smile reflected by the mirror, for the mirror has no choice but to follow suit. And therefore you can be assured that if you change inside, if you change yourself, your physical reality has no choice but to reflect that back to you. It must follow suit, for it does not have a mind of its own. But we know that when you are brought up with ideas that can make you doubt yourselves, then you can play all sorts of complicated games in your mind about whether or not your reality is going to reflect the truth. You can not be certain that it will reflect back to you who you are. You can pretend that it has the ability to do something contrary to what it is that you give off. But it can't. It really cannot. This is simple physics. We want you to understand that many of the things that we will be discussing this day of your time, the many principles that we will be sharing and discussing that have to do with your ability to change your lives in the way you prefer, will not just be left to the realm of philosophy. Oh, that sounds like a nice idea, but how does it work? Oh, that's all well and good to say that thing, all lovey-dovey, as you say, but what practical use is it? We will not leave it in that realm, but will allow you to understand that the tools, the concepts that we are sharing with you are truly concepts of physics, action, reaction. You will be able to see, by applying these principles, effects in your lives, physically, because we're not just talking about philosophical concepts. We are talking about physics. We are talking about the way reality is created. We are talking about the way life actually works in your physical dimension. So we know that this comprises a type of tool kit, and if you will keep the tools sharp and will apply them steadfastly, then you will see that they will do their job. And all you have to do is do the job of being yourself in order to use them properly. Now, what does this entail? Well, first and foremost, a very important principle. Doing the job of being yourself, first and foremost, means this, that you must treat yourself with love and respect, that you must value yourself. We can tell from interaction and observation that many of you have been taught to devalue yourselves, to think yourselves unworthy, undeserving, to think of yourselves as less than you were created to be. And as long as you choose to continue to devalue yourselves and doubt your own self-empowerment, then these tools will not be as effective as they could be. For if you are not functioning holistically, you cannot expect the tools to do their job fully. So the first principle is to understand that unconditional love must be given from yourself to yourself first. For if you do not love yourself, you will not be able to love anyone else. And we understand that you have what you call on your planet a golden rule that you usually quote as, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. However, a more precise understanding of this golden rule would really be, psychologically speaking, you will do to others what you are willing to do to yourself. So when you devalue yourself, when you do not think you are worthy, certainly you will not attach any value to anything or anyone. And therefore you will treat your world, other people, and yourselves with great disrespect. And that will amount and result in many of the difficulties and problems you see on your planet today. It is as simple as that. You do not love yourselves, so you do not love others, and so therefore you do not love your world, and therefore you see all the difficulties. But when you understand that it begins with you, and we do not mean this in a negatively selfish way, but when it begins with self-love, then you will know you are all right, you will know you are self-empowered, you will know you are connected to the infinite, you will know that a source of infinite power can always be expressed through you, you will know that life does not happen to you but happens through you, you will be a conscious, creative being in the way you were created to be, a co-creator with creation, and you will then be full of compassion, creativity, life, love, self-expression, and you will know how to be a shining example with others, to others, for others, with others, and for yourself, so that your lives can be a reflection of what you say you prefer it to be. Now, it's time to go on your planet beyond what you call lip service. It's time to put into action these principles. And so this is why it is important to understand that we are not just talking about nice ideas that you can just keep talking about and thinking about and run around in your heads and say, oh yes, that sounds nice. We are talking about principles you can put into action, that you can apply and get a result from, so that you can see and experience that result, and in experiencing that result, you can then know that these tools work. You can then know that you are a self-actualized being, made in the image of the infinite. You can have that experience, and in knowing that, you will then radiate that frequency, and in radiating that frequency, then the reflection from physical reality mirror will be an equal reflection back to you. It is as simple as that. And so, we once again thank you for allowing us to share this point of view with you this day of your time. And once again, in return for the great gift that you are giving our world in allowing us to link with you, we ask in return now, in what way may we and I be of service to you? You may begin with sharing in any manner you so desire.
I'll say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? Thank you. Allow us to begin, first of all, by thanking each and every one of you for co-creating this interaction with our civilization in this way, this day of your time. Each and every time any one of you helps to create this kind of interaction, it forms a bridge, it forms a link between our respective civilizations. And we always enjoy the interactions because by being allowed to interact with each and every one of you individually and all of you together collectively, we are afforded an opportunity to experience through you different points of view that exist within creation. And this expands our understanding of all the different ways that creation can express itself. So we thank you for the gift that you are giving to us in forming this interaction. Now, we would like to begin this interaction by stating that a very specific kind of energy shift is coming in your upcoming year that you call in your counting 2007. And we would like to explain in a little bit more detail what we perceive from our perspective to be some of the patterns that will flow from the changes taking place in your years to come. Now, let me remind you that there is no such thing as a prediction of the future. There is, however, a sensing of the energy that exists at the time the prediction is made, a sensing of the present. And if that energy does not change, then what is sensed can come to pass. But when someone senses that energy, they are not sensing the future. There is no set future. There are infinite probabilities of many different things, many different paths that can open up. And depending upon where you choose to focus, your individual and collective energy, that determines the path you shall experience. But as we read the energy that exists now, at the present time, what we are about to say is what seems likely to unfold based on the strongest energy patterns that we perceive. Now, we would like a volunteer to write something down. Anyone? Yeah. All right, you. Do you have what you call your paper and your pen? Yeah. All right. Any one of you may write this down as well if you wish for yourselves. But first, write down these numbers. Are you ready? Are you sure? All right, just checking. 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. Have you got that? All right. Oh, take your time. Now, also write down, in another column if you wish, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Have you got that? All of you? All right. Now, 2007 begins a new cycle of energy, a new collective momentum, a new collective inertia in the general consciousness of your planet. And that, in the beginning of this cycle, will be a starting point for a number of things that are to unfold as we perceive the energy at present. The first number, 3, added to that will take you to the year 2010. That will be the next marker or milestone, if you wish, in this general pattern we are outlining here now. Then, from there, you may add the 5 and bring yourselves to 2015. Then, from there, you may add the 7. Then, from there, you may add the 9. And then, from there, you may add the 11, bringing yourself ultimately to your year of 2042. You follow along? I'll wait. Now, in each of these blocks of time, of 3 years, and 5 years, and 7 years, and 9 years, and 11 years, across this 35-year span, now, in the first block of 3 years, also count 1 year from that beginning. So when you say 2007, the first span of 3 years to 2010, but also make a demarcation 1 year into that, bringing you to 2008. That's another demarcation point. Then in the idea of 2010 to 2015, bring yourself 2 years in, from 2015 to 2017. That's another demarcation point. And then add in each successive block, again, the idea of 3 years in, 4 years in, 5 years in each of those blocks from the starting point of the beginning of each block. You follow me? So you have, as I said, your 2007 to 2010, that starts the 3-year block, but go 1 year into that also, 2008. Then you have your 2010 to 2015, go 2 years into that so that you get your 2017. And apply 3 years to the next block, 4 years to the next block, and 5 years to the block after that. Those will give you all of the main demarcation times that we have talked about for certain events to occur, and also that many of you have been aware of for a while about different beings, different societies, different ideas in your culture of different demarcations for things to happen. For example, as you have in the second block, your 2010 to 2015, going in 2 years brings you to 2012, which many of you have for a long time been discussing as a major threshold crossing point. So you will see that in this overall pattern, you will be able to mark general crossing points that will be indicative of certain societal changes, certain changes in awareness that will bring you to the next level, the next step of changes going on not only in your society, but changes toward the interaction of your society with societies from other worlds. And as we have said, when you get up the scale a little bit in this pattern, around your years of 2030 and up, you will find that there will be open contacts occurring on your planet between yourselves and members of other societies. And by the ending of this cycle in 2042, Earth itself will, in a sense, have already been enlisted within an alliance of a variety of worlds. So this 35-year span represents your inclusion from the beginning point to a point where you are full-fledged members of an alliance of a variety of civilizations. And along the way there will be different incidents, different events, both in your society and as you observe other things going on in your universe, that will show you that you are progressing toward an expanded awareness that will bring you more and more into contact, not only with more of yourselves and give you more ability to choose what kind of world you actually prefer, but will also bring you closer into contact with beings such as ourselves, so there can eventually be face-to-face interaction. 2007 begins the acceleration of that cycle, that then, in a sense, ends in 2042, but then continues on a very different level altogether. From that point forward, you will be being trained how to interact with other societies who are also evolving in ways that you have already gone through, in ways you have already experienced, so that you will be able, as a society, to begin to help them learn to evolve their societies in ways that you have learned to evolve. But that will take place, as we said, after your 2040s. But in the meantime, many exciting things will happen as we read the energy now. Now, so keep that in mind. Use it as a template. See what happens around those years and begin to understand the pattern of energy, both within yourself as an individual personality and in the collective society. You will see many different things that will start to happen in and around these times, give or take a few months here and there, one side or the other. But we are giving you a template so you can follow along now in this time your own progress of acceleration and evolution in the expansion of your consciousness as it relates to discovering more of yourself and as it relates to discovering others that are aware of you and have been aware of you for thousands of your years. And as you come into more contact with us and others, it will also accelerate and increase your understanding of who you are as individual people and as a civilization. And it will start to illuminate the choices you have made in creating your society, so that in looking at those choices, you can decide more clearly what choices you would like to make from that point forward to create the society you all say you would prefer to have on your planet. So use this template and see what insights can be gleaned from it as you compare the events in your society to the years that are marked on this particular template. You will learn a lot about patterns of consciousness that occur within your collective self and your individual self. It's a tool we give you to have some fun with. Now, we would also like to say this. We have now been communicating with your society in this way, as has been pointed out, for 23 of your years. Part of the change coming up is that the way we are doing this will now change also. Tomorrow of your time, it has been discussed that we shall conduct what you in your language call a workshop. We will conduct this workshop on what you call your west coast of your country tomorrow of your time, and in 1 month thereafter, we will conduct a workshop on the east coast of your country. That workshop on the east coast of your country will be the last workshop of its kind. From that point forward, there will be something different. We will, as far as the idea of workshops goes, in time, help create what might be more readily called a curriculum that will actually be offered through what will come to be understood as an Institute of Applied Metaphysics. That curriculum, in a sense, will be something you can begin to study at your own pace and apply the tools we have discussed with you for 23 of your years in such a way that you can really strongly begin to apply all these things in your own way, at your own pace, to your own life, and get very specific changes by training yourself how to do what we have come to learn to do naturally with every breath. Thus, you will be immersed in an atmosphere and an environment of learning these ideas, these tools that we share with you in such a manner akin to what you may call your schools, so that it will truly be steeped into you in such a manner that it will become second nature to you, rather than just hearing the information now and then. It will provide a true training over a long period of time to allow these to become ingrained behaviors, so that you will have profound effects on your life, rather than just intermittent ones. This curriculum and the Institute of Applied Metaphysics will occur in time. Perhaps, again, over the course of what you may call the 3 years in the first block, from 2007 to 2010. Most likely will this curriculum appear, and the institute that will allow you to apply it. But there will not be workshops of tomorrow's nature again. You are ready for something different. You are ready for a different level. Now, there will continue from time to time be the availability of having what you are experiencing this day of your time to be questions and answers, interactions of a type. But what will eventually also replace the timing of these Q&As, or incorporate the Q&A, will be something that we will begin to deliver on our schedule, on our time, that you might call State of the Union addresses. Because now that you are going into the cycle of the pattern, of the template, of truly moving toward becoming a member of an interstellar alliance, we will include you in a variety of State of the Union addresses to update you on your progress and assist you in learning how to become more interactive within that alliance. Be a true, full-fledged member of that alliance. So, instead of the idea, thus then, of just Q&As, although these will include the ability of dialogue back and forth. They will be more like reports, states of the union, states of the interstellar union, if you wish. It is time that these formats change, and at this time, we will be the ones to determine at this point exactly when and where they will occur. So, simply be open, and synchronicity will bring you the information, and you will be where you need to be, when you need to be there. Information will be provided through usual channels, no pun intended, and you will find out the information that you need involving the changes I am now speaking of. And this brings us to the third item we would like to address this day of your time, and that is with regard to the energy vibrational changes taking place within each and every one of you individually. Many of you understand that your vibrations are raising, your vibrations are increasing, taking you to a higher level. Now, some of you don't necessarily always know this or are aware of this, but over time, you have increased your frequency, you have raised your vibratory level of energy. It's just that you may be so used to it that you don't necessarily know that this has happened. The example we often give to illustrate this point is that a person who lived on your planet, say 300 of your years ago, if they were to suddenly be transported to your present time and were to look at any single one of you, they would actually see you as glowing. Your vibration is that much higher in 300 years compared to theirs 300 years ago that you would appear to be glowing to someone from 300 years ago. But to you, it's natural, so you don't notice it. It's your natural vibration now, but it has raised over time. You are higher energy level beings now, and your vibration will continue to rise. But here's how it rises. Because some of you have been experiencing the idea of what you call ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs in life. And you say, why is my vibration not always going up? Why does it sometimes go down? Here's why. Remember that some time ago we said expansion and evolution and growth is the product of inclusion, not exclusion. You are gathering all of the things from lower vibrations you need to look at to integrate them into the higher vibration. So your general cycle is rising into a high vibration that gives you the ability to dip into the lower vibration and bring up to the higher vibration issues, beliefs, definitions that you need to resolve, that you need to integrate, that you need to process. And by going on a higher vibration, it gives you the ability to do that, to dip lower, so that you're gathering all of yourself together, including all of your experience of life. And as you do that, it's not that you're going like this and traveling in a straight line. You will start doing this and start averaging a higher vibration. As you dip down, you will not dip down as far as you did before. As you rise up, you will rise higher and higher. And the average of those two, no matter how high you rise and how low you may go, the average of those two will constantly be rising. That is how you do it. So invite the idea of what seem to be the low points, because it is those low points that allow you to gather things that you don't want to leave behind, ideas that you need to examine, beliefs and definitions that you need to process in order to truly integrate yourselves as holistic beings and raise your vibration in general to be able to manifest the life you prefer more and more easily through ecstatic explosions of synchronicity. Because synchronicity is one of the first and primary side effects of beginning to live in the moment, beginning to live in the now, beginning to be your true self. Synchronicity is space-time, physical reality's way of showing you that all things exist now. But in linear space-time, the only way that you can experience that is by many different things happening coincidentally all at once, one after another, showing you that things are linked, things are connected. That you are manifesting these things, and as you live more in the now where everything exists, then physical reality, which is a mirror, can reflect back to you through synchronicity more and more and more of all the things that exist with you right here, right now. Many people talk about the idea of creating your reality. You don't really create it. It already exists. Many people talk about the idea of attracting the reality you prefer. You don't really attract it because there is nowhere out there to attract it from. There is no outside. That's an illusion. It's not that you're creating the reality. It's not that you're attracting the reality. What you are creating is the experience in your consciousness that is most reflective of the vibration on which you exist. That's what you're creating, the experience. Reality is experience. There is no empirical reality outside of you. It's all within your consciousness. But you can create the appearance. You can create the experience of physical space-time. You can create the experience of an outside so that you can play a game of investing yourself with new knowledge about yourself by creating perspectives that otherwise could not be created without that format. But it's all taking place within your consciousness. And it's all just a matter of perspective. That's all it is. So when people talk about creating their reality, yes, in a way you are. When people talk about attracting the reality they prefer, yes, in a way you do. But it's already here, all here, right now within you. So what you're actually creating with your vibrational changes is the experience. And that's the reality. That's the reality. It's not so much what happens. It's how you respond to what happens that determines the vibratory frequency that determines your experience of reality. That's all it takes. You're already here. You're already now. There is nothing really you have to learn how to create. Nothing really you have to learn how to attract. All you need to learn is how to allow the experience to happen that is most reflective of the vibratory signature you're giving off, and then respond to it in a way that is reflective of the kind of being you prefer to be. That's all it takes to have an unlimited experience of synchronistic reality in ecstasy, excitement, joy, unconditional love. That's all it takes, is the willingness and the allowance to let it occur, to let it reflect the true you. But we understand how many of you were raised on your planet, and we understand the definitions and belief systems that you were raised to buy into, and we understand that what you go through is part and parcel of the process of getting in touch with what those beliefs and definitions are, so that in doing so, you can then decide whether those definitions work for you or not, whether those definitions are in alignment with your true self or not, whether those definitions and beliefs are what you prefer to believe or not. And in getting in touch with them that way, it is up to you, up to your free will, up to your ability to choose what definitions you believe are most true for you. And that will be the reality you will experience, because it all happens within you anyway. The experience of physical reality fundamentally exists for one reason only. So you can have an experience called choice. That's why it exists. Without physical reality, things happen instantaneously. But in physical reality, you can have an experience of creating something, of taking time to experience a process, of savoring the mechanism of creation. You can have choice. That's what physical reality is all about. And what you're all awakening to now in this day and age on your planet is the realization that that's all reality is. Making choices. That's all it is. The experience you have of reality is completely the result of the choices you make based on the definitions you buy into most strongly as true. That's it. That's how it works. It's the only mechanism there is. I know, it's too simple. We know that humans love to complicate things. And if you enjoy that, then by all means, please go ahead and do so. We will not stop you. We want you to do what you enjoy doing. We are simply here to let you know there is another way, and we think most of you are beginning to get some inkling that that's so. And so we are here to reinforce for you that it is so, if you want it to be so. It is what works for us. It is what works for many other beings. It can work for you too, if you choose it to. But you don't have to. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to. Whatever you choose is perfect, because it's your choice. You see, once again, as we have said many times, this is the beauty and the paradoxical proof that creation is absolutely unconditionally loving and supportive. Because you are allowed to believe anything you want and experience it as true. You are so unconditionally loved and so unconditionally supported that creation will even support you in believing you are not unconditionally loved and not unconditionally supported. That's how unconditionally loved and supported you actually are. That you can even believe you're not. That's how much freedom you have, how much allowance you are given. Your reality is firmly in your hands, and it's up to you to decide what to choose. It's only a product of choices anyway. So it's really up to you to get in touch with what definitions and what beliefs you may have that has determined your experience of reality to this point, and decide whether those beliefs belong to someone else, whether they still work for you or not, or whether you can let them go like baggage you no longer need to carry with you. And remember, keep it simple. The universe, even though in a sense complexly rich, is fundamentally very simple. It's just a matter of identifying what the definition is that you have bought into and letting it go as something that no longer works for you as a choice. That's all it really takes fundamentally. Although, because we understand that many of you really love processes, there are sometimes other steps that can be added to that to help illuminate this concept a little bit more clearly for all the different points of view that come to this understanding. But because we are having this conversation with you this day in this way, we will at least assume that most of you are beginning to get an inkling that it is simpler than you think, and we are here to assure you that it absolutely can be if you choose it to be. So, with all this in mind, and applying these ideas and many other ideas we have spoken of over time to your own individual perspectives, you may, if you wish, at this time begin with sharing through questions and answers.